So back to that, the Knicks took a commanding 2-0 series lead over the Cavaliers last night behind a playoff career-high 26 points from Josh Hart. Hart took over in the third quarter, scoring 9 points during an 18-0 run as the Knicks broke open a close game, pulled away for a 109-93 win. And after the game, Hart delivered a viral quote that's worth a listen.
I'm never a huge analytics guy. At a certain point, they're a lamppost to a drunk person. You can lean on them, but it won't get you home. So at a certain point, you got to have a good feel for the game.
Oh, my God, man.
It's a great line.
Park, you're our resident analogy human being over here. I don't know how else to word that. What did you make of Josh Hart's analogy?
I love it. I love it. I love every word, everything he spoke was the gospel. And analytics has ruined our game, has ruined a lot of organizations. Too many people, what?
Help me. I'm at a loss. I pride myself on being a relatively intelligent dude. You can lean on a drunk person? Yes, there's a lamppost to a drunk person. You can lean on them, but it won't get you home? Really? I understand the lamppost part. You understand? So who leaning on somebody drunk? Who is that? What? I don't know what the hell he was talking about. I'm glad, because you talking like you knew exactly what he was saying, and I'm like, I don't. Can help me out.
I think he's leaning on the lamppost.
Yes,
like that's
he's
what
leaning
he said.
on the
Like a
lamppost.
drunk person leaning on the lamppost.
Right.
The lamppost is like a drunk person.
Yeah, but
All right, go ahead.
So I agree with Josh Hart 1,000%. Now, Jay, you talk about something that's ruined the game of basketball, analytics. Because that's how analytics keep people who never played basketball hired in the front offices. And that's what they lean on, a la Daryl Morey. That's what he leaned on. Stephen A., you remember when you alluded, when they got beaten in conference finals, I believe it was, with the Houston Rockets, he went to Tillman Fertitta with the paper and say, hey, we actually won on paper. No, you actually lost on the scoreboard. And so when you think about analytics, that also was a shot at Kenny Atkinson. Because Kenny Atkinson, after game one, after their practice, he leaned on analytics. If you look at the analytics, we have the data. James Harden is one of our best defenders. Well, my eyes tell me otherwise. The game that I'm watching tells me that James Harden was getting cooked. And so when you think about what your eyes see in the analytics, too many times we're leaning on, well, if Karl Anthony Towns is on the floor with Mikal Bridges for 3 minutes and 30 seconds in the third quarter, the analytics say that we play this much better and this much faster. What? That's what they're leaning on. Instead of actually watching and looking at the game in real time. So I agree with Josh Hart. And guess what? The analytics got the Cavs' ass kicked last night because they tried to lean on that and leave Josh Hart open. I guarantee you they leaned on the data with that one too.
Stephen A., go ahead.
But no, go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
Okay.
I think data and analytics in the right hands could be useful, depending upon how that person utilizes it. And so I agree with your comments about some of the things you said about, I think some people weaponize it. I think a lot of people that maybe haven't played the game over-rely or over-index on it. So I think organizations having the right feel or right balance of people that have played the game that say you can use data and analytics to a certain extent, but when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of it, you have to know basketball. Basketball is a feel type of scenario. And data and analytics can get you to a certain point, but if you don't have a feel for how the game is going, analytics can lie to you. They can lie to you. So it's what organizations have the right balance, a basketball field combined with analytics to me, and how they're utilized, KP, those are the ones that thrive. But the ones that over-index on one or the other, there has to be some type of balance, but ultimately you have to lean upon the feel of the game. Does that make sense?
I completely agree with you, Jay. Overuse. And I think to get back to Big Perk's point, it's something that's very, very important to point out about this subject matter. It has kept a lot of people employed, but it's also left a lot of basketball lifers unemployed. or reassigned and handed a lesser position. Why would that happen? It's very, very simple. Because the owners, who obviously are worth billions, what do they understand most? Numbers.
Numbers, yeah.
And so analytics
Great point.
is a language they can comprehend as opposed to instinctual basketball, verbiage and stuff like that. And as a result, that's their comfort level. But even they didn't expect somebody like Daryl Morey to come along, who would lean so much on it that even devoid of ever making a finals, let alone winning a championship, he will look at numbers and tell you that's winning.
Right.
See, that's the problem.
That
And
is the
so what happens is, what if you have an owner that adopts that mentality? Whereas, as long as I'm competitive and I'm in the mix and the numbers speak favorably towards me, and that's his definition of winning as opposed to a trophy, that's where you worry about the game and the quality of it being endangered, because something else has become a priority other than actually winning. And that's the thing. You got some owners out here. I said this before, Shay, Jay, Big Perk. I've said it on many occasions. You have some owners who'll never admit it, but their definition of winning is being in the mix. If I make a deep playoff run, but I saved money on this contract, that contract, and I made sure, you understand, that I maximized the monetary investment that I made, then I'm winning. As opposed to capturing the chip. I know that ain't Joe Lacob. I know that ain't Tillman Fertitta. I know that ain't a host of other owners in the league. But there's always some sprinkled into the mix. And that is who really, really has empowered the analytics movement and has cost a lot of people who are basketball lifers their job, and has elevated people involved in analytics that don't know a damn thing about basketball instinctually, but the numbers, they can make it look that way.
I feel like in football, we use analytics more outwardly. Like we put them up on the bottom of the screen. Like, should you go for, should you kick the extra point or should you go for two? Like we use them more, like the fan uses them more, right?
Yeah.
Like in basketball, they're used more behind the scenes. Coaches use them, et cetera.
Yes.
And then we have to be like, was this an
See-
analytics play? What was just happening here? All right, let's stay with the Knicks here. They secured their 9th straight playoff win, extending their longest streak in franchise history. They're now the 13th team in NBA history to win 9 straight games in a single playoff run. Of the previous 12 teams, 7 of them have gone on to win the NBA Finals. It does feel weird me talking about analytics and then making an analytical statement. Anyways, Stephen A., if the Knicks make the Finals, is it enough to keep this roster intact?
Nope, it is not. A finals appearance doesn't erase or eradicate the stench of having failed to have won the championship since 1973. We've been to the finals since 1973. Matter of fact, we've been there twice. We've been there in 94, and we've been there in 99. Okay? That's the last time we've been to the finals, but the last time we won was in 1973. That's a long time. And if you don't win a championship this year, it's not because of that you still should entertain the potential change of getting somebody like a Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's that Oklahoma City and San Antonio has provided every indication they're going to be here for a while. And so as a result, you have to plan accordingly on doing what you can to assemble a roster that can knock off those guys. Now, it may be that you stand pat, guys, because, again, the deal ain't out there to be made, and I understand that. But if it is, you got to have the courage to pull the trigger, because I know I would.
And that's the problem that I have with Stephen A. and Knicks fans, right? You take for granted making it to the NBA Finals. Making it to the Promised Land itself is a huge accomplishment. Some guys that played a lot of years in their NBA careers, you see the face he making?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's someone who feels a fan that's entitled. Oh, we need to go win the championship. No, making it to the finals is a huge accomplishment. Some guys never sniffed the finals throughout their whole entire career. That's number one. Number two, every single season from this point forward, every team that has real legit title hopes of going into the season, trying to really compete for a title, should damn show Beyonce they roster. Beyonce they roster. Upgraded every single season. Because we watch OKC. They won a championship. What did they do at the trade deadline? They went and got Jared McCain. Right?
Yep.
You're gonna continue. You got to, because we're in the place now where everything is evenly split, right? Like you look at the small market teams, it's like we come into the season, we're like, how many teams are legit title contenders? Like 8 or 9. We can see Minnesota win. Like it's like that. So you got to continue to add. But I would say if the Knicks get to the finals, or when they get to the finals, if you got to run it back, you got to run it back. You make small adjustments. But the way that Karl Anthony Towns has been playing, if I'm the Knicks, I'm not looking at Giannis and saying I want any of that action. I'm cool with Big Towns and Jalen Brunson leading the charge.
To Stephen A's credit, as the man who's sitting courtside of every Knicks game is saying right now, Fat Joe, yesterday's price is not today's price. So, to his point, this is an arms race. But for everybody else, I would say I am trending towards more of your direction, KP, right now, with just the continuity and how they're playing. It still feels like there's a lot for them to continue to unlock. And here's one thing I'm going to say to you both. Yo, chemistry is one delicate thing, man. It's a delicate thing. And I know we have conversations about people that we can put on the Knicks team, but what have we seen with a lot of other teams around chemistry issues? We talk about death by 1,000 cuts, front offices, like whose team is it really? Who does this superstar feel like? You know, I feel like I should get more of the clout. I feel like I should get more of the reps. Things should be built around me a little bit more. That's a very delicate thing. You bring in another superstar, if they don't understand pecking order and where things exist, that chemistry is slightly off. That's a different outcome. I don't know if I want to mess with the chemistry of the New York Knicks, at least for another year, if they don't close a deal.
Stephen A?
Listen, like I said, a lot depends on what you're witnessing. For example, you don't think in the offseason, let me sit in a room with Jay Williams and Big Perk right now, right? Put them up on the screen, please, when I want to see them when I'm talking to them. So we in a room, and we're the executives for the New York Knicks, not World Wide West and Leon Rose. It's us, right? And New York Knicks go to the finals.
Who has final
and they get
executive say?
outmatched. The final say would be me. But the point is, but I'm brilliant because I know I'm not. I have brilliant people beside me. You understand what I'm saying? Give me the info, I'll make a decision. Here's the deal. We see that San Antonio or OKC to beat them requires an upgrade. That's one element to look at. The other element is for reality to kick in once the dust settles. Was Atlanta really that good? Was Philly really that good? Was Cleveland really that good? You see what I'm saying? You sort of looking at these things and you're going like this. I'm just saying, you're looking at them and going like this. Yeah, they all right. You understand? But that's not going to be the case moving forward. And so because of that, the likelihood is that the road to prosperity is going to be far more difficult in the future than it was in the Eastern Conference playoffs than it was for us this year. And as a result, that might incite us to be a bit forward-thinking, dare I say, and be like, yo, we got over. It worked out for us. Because Embiid wasn't healthy. Atlanta was young and wasn't ready, and Cleveland was too damn soft and fatigued and tired and all of that. Yo, that might not be the case down the line. We need to be prepared for some Rough Riders coming after us. You understand? That's going to somewhat resemble a little bit more of OKC and San Antonio through the Eastern Conference to get to the finals. And then when we get back to the finals, we got to be ready for those brothers. Those are the reasons you make those decisions moving forward.
Stephen A., you have the Knicks have the best player in the Eastern Conference. Matter of fact, he's been the best player in the Eastern Conference over the last 3 years. We just been trying to find a replacement for him in Big
That's
Body
not the
Brunson.
point, though.
No, it is the point. It is the point because when you think about what you're building around him as your leader, then all of a sudden you start to go back to what Jay Will was saying, the chemistry. Him and Karl Anthony Towns, they fit together so great. Karl Anthony Towns in this new role, like to me, if the Knicks face OKC in the finals, OKC will win. If the Knicks face the San Antonio Spurs in the finals, I'm going with the Knicks because of Karl Anthony Towns' ability to pull Wemby away from the basket. And by the way, I believe the Knicks had their number this past in the regular season.
Listen,
So
At the Garden. All right, we got a break. We got to take a break. We'll come back. I'm sorry, we're up against it here. We'll come back. Remember,
Y'all
they
pay
did
some bills.
make a